it's impossible to keep warm or to keep that fire burning if we stay still. If we're inactive, if we're not working for Christ, if we're not going outside our comfort zone, that fire that he placed within us, that spark that he started, it's going to go out. God has really blessed. This is my second Streams of Light mission trip. And while I've been here, what I've really been blessed by is noticing that when I'm depending on God fully, when I'm allowing him to lead, and I'm not trying to, remember the training so much or focus on saying the right thing, but just being prayerful, that he really opens up the door for many divine appointments. And I've had so many of those. Two that have been very impactful for me, because I believe that the Lord brings us on these trips for our own salvation, for our own character development, not just to reach others for him, although that is definitely a primary blessing. We met this gentleman, my husband and I are on this trip, and we met this gentleman when it was like the last 20 minutes of our time that day. And I'm walking up to this gentleman and I'm saying, "Good day, sir. How are you?" And he has his back towards me and he's not really like engaging with me, but I keep pressing because the Holy Spirit is like, "You got to talk to him." Finally talked to him, and it turns out that he is in pain because I'm explaining the health magazine to him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, is there anything in there for pain?" And I say, "Yeah, of course. All of these things will help you with your pain, but tell me what's going on." And he explained that he had cancer. He was dealing with some side effects from the chemo and the radiation. And right away I realized, like, wow, God, you allowed me to meet this gentleman because I have been helping people like that for a few years now. And so I quickly wrote down some information on the magazine, and then my husband took his phone number and we prayed with him. And he said, "I know that God sent me out here to clean my car to meet you guys because I didn't want to do it." And I said, "Wow, look at that. It's always a blessing when we do the things that we don't want to do, especially when the Holy Spirit is leading us to do so." And so it's just been a huge blessing. Another really interesting experience. I was with a little kid and we were knocking on the door and we decided to ring the bell just one more time. And no one was answering. So we left the package on their doorknob. And as we're walking away, we hear someone saying, "Hello, hello, can I help you?" And it's coming from the Ring doorbell. So we walk back and we start having this conversation with this woman. And she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm not there. I'm driving right now. What is it that you need?" And we explain the magazine and the book to her. And she's like, "Oh, wow, I moved here recently and I've been looking for a church family and I've been trying to get closer to God." And I said, "Ma'am, this is your day. This is going to really help you with that." And I explained a little bit more about why the book is so important. And I said, "Let me just ask if she wants Bible study." That woman signed up for Bible study. I said, "What's your interest level?" She said 10. 10 is the highest. And it was such a blessing because I knew that if we had just hung the book on the door and walked away instead of ringing the bell or just being a little bit patient, we wouldn't have had that experience. And I know God spoke to her to speak to us, and that could not have been without the Holy Spirit's blessing. So that day we had been walking and I had been saying, "Lord, you promised us divine appointments. I'm waiting for them." And she opened up through a Ring doorbell camera. And so God be praised because we have been having lots more experiences like that, but I just wanted to share a couple that have been really warming my heart and causing me to think about future trips. The thing that I think is most important to remember is we were having this conversation around the breakfast table this morning. It's impossible to keep warm or to keep that fire burning if we stay still. If we're inactive, if we're not working for Christ, if we're not going outside our comfort zone, that fire that he placed within us, that spark that he started, it's going to go out. But when we're working for him actively, when we're doing it from a heart filled with love, led by the Spirit, we burn even more brightly. So come on out and join us for these trips.